Okay, so what we are going to be doing is we are going to be sending Reiki to the group, but also going through Reiki for others. So last week we went through Reiki for self, and this week we'll be going through Reiki for others, along with the chance to give and receive. Remember to say yes to receiving and to each other and to all of those that are joining us later, listening later. Just say yes. Reiki knows where to go and what to do. We'll be using the distance symbol to be able to send through time and space to you. So, the one thing that I want to make sure that I also say is that we will be mainly focusing on distance sessions today because we are in a type circumstance. So, some of the things that we'll be doing won't be necessarily like an in person session, but I'll just talk a little bit about that when we get to the hand positions. So there's lots of ways to send distance Reiki. We'll go through a few basic ones. The how will we will be doing it today is entirely up to you. But one of the most common ways to send Reiki is through what we call a surrogate. So a surrogate is something like a teddy bear or a stuffed animal. You can use a pillow. Yep, I see people holding up their surrogates. You can use a pillow. There's all sorts of things that you can use as a surrogate. Sometimes that's not a reality, depending on the situation that you're in. Even say today you weren't planning on this, you may not have your surrogate nearby. That's absolutely okay. You can place your hands on your own body. You can place your hands just comfortably on your lap. As Colleen and I practice, we practice a more intuitive style of Reiki. We also want to honor that all of the things that I will be saying is a part of our practice, and some of the more intuitive aspects, or maybe not as rigid rules. Rigid sounds negative. I don't mean it that way. Um, other lineages do practice a little bit more of the kind of disciplined idea of Reiki. If that is your lineage, you're listening later, that's your lineage. We honor all of that. We love all of it. More Reiki is good Reiki. So if you do it a little bit differently than us, just do it how you were taught, how you connect into Reiki, and how you connect into distance Reiki. So, how we will be sending to each other is through a surrogate style today. There are other ways to also send distance Reiki, right? So, we can use the Japanese Reiki techniques, and we'll just go over the two that are usually the most relevant to this. You have Gyoshi Ho, which is sending Reiki with your eyes. So for us, we are here on camera. If you want to send Reiki to the other squares on the screen here with your eyes, you can do that. How you do that is really just through intention. So for me, in my mind's eye, I kind of imagine like the power symbol or the mental emotional symbol, the distance symbol, all the symbols I'm attuned to in my eyes. And then I will have a soft gaze. We're not staring intensely at people. It's a soft gaze. And we are gently offering Reiki through our eyes to other people. This can be helpful in situations where maybe someone's far away, or if you're in person, if you're working on the head, you can also offer Gyoshi Ho to somebody's feet at the same time. That can be really helpful, or vice versa. Sometimes when we're volunteering in like a medical setting, all we can do is reach their feet. So sometimes that Gyoshi Ho is really helpful to be able to send to other parts of the body. The other Japanese Reiki technique that is really helpful in these situations is Koki Ho, which is Reiki with your breath. And so with your surrogate, You can, how you're going to do Koki Ho is you are going to imagine or intend the symbol in your mouth. Then you're going to take a deep belly breath into below your navel, and then you're going to breathe in. So Reiki into the place that the person might need it on their body. I'm called to somebody who asked for Reiki for their ankle, for example. That might be a situation where I would do Koki Ho. So there are other things about Koki Ho, not really breathing in people's face. That can be uncomfortable. I would not like that. Maybe the top of their head would be fine, but not into their face or like their throat chakra, things like that, where it might be uncomfortable. So that's another Japanese Reiki technique that can be very helpful. The other Japanese Reiki technique that we will be doing today is Byosen scanning. And Byosen scanning, I think Colleen went through this last week, but for somebody else, Byosen scanning, we can do that with our surrogates. If you're in person, obviously you're going to be doing this over their body. And Byosen scanning is where you are looking for a change in the energy in your hand. So most people are using their non-dominant hand. They're starting at the top of the head and they are scanning over the body. And that, of course, would be with your hand above the body. What you're looking for with this is you are looking for any change in sensation. For many people, that can be hot, that can be cold, that can be tingling. It can also be that your hand just sort of stops where it is needed, and the Byosen or the sick line is indicating to you where maybe extra Reiki is needed. So that is Byosen scanning. And I'm going to guide us through all of this. So just so you know that that is, you don't have to worry about when to do it or when to know to do it today. You can just allow yourself to relax into it. And also, if you feel guided to do it at any other point than what I'm saying, you can also do that as well. So for me with Byosen scanning, what happens for me is that my hand, I don't get a lot of sensation in my hands. Sometimes they can get that feeling of hot, but I don't get a ton. So what ends up happening is that I feel like, okay, I just need to stop. My hand needs to stop here. But what I will do is I'll continue and scanning down the body and I will make a note, okay, I had extra sensation in the third eye or in the abdomen. And then when I'm there, I might spend a little extra time there. So that is a way that Byosen works for me. It works differently for everybody. So those are a few Japanese Reiki techniques that we'll be using for our Inkaku Chirio, which is sending treatment. That's the distance treatment. The Japanese distance treatment, it technically translates to sending treatment. So there's that. There's a few other ways that we can send distance Reiki. A few of you talked about sending to the world peace grids. We absolutely can send to the peace grids using a crystal, putting it into our peace grids. We can, have our hands over our peace grids. That's a really good way to send to a group of people or a world event. We're sending to the intention of peace. And it doesn't have to just be your world peace grid. It can be any grid that you have that can work as well too. There's lots of different ways. One of the ways that we do a distance treatment is sometimes we can have the picture of a person on our phone and we can send Reiki to the picture of the person or the animal on your phone like this. Sometimes it is just their name written out on a card. That is another way that you can send distance Reiki. Also, in this situation, with those of us that are live here, you can just simply hold your hands up in a soft send like this. So, I don't necessarily laser beam. Everybody's different this way, though. I don't really want to put a wrong or a right on it. However, is the most comfortable to you. You can absolutely send Reiki this way as well. So, lots of right ways. With the because we're doing a distance session today and we are doing it with a surrogate, we will go through some of the standard hand positions. So that is another way of sending Reiki, is moving through the standard hand positions. Generally speaking, I again have a more intuitive process as far as as Reiki is concerned and where I'm placing my hands and things like that. However, generally speaking, I am still working from the top of the head down to the feet. And a lot of times in an in-person session, I'm going to start at the top of the head. I kind of work around one area of the body and then back up the other side so that I can get both hands, things like that. Not everybody has that as a possibility, depending on the way your room is set up and things like that. But that's kind of generally, because what that helps to do is it helps for your client to um, have a predictable way of your practice. So even if you're moving through it intuitively, I am generally not moving from the head to the feet, back from the feet, back to the head. So I'm not skipping and moving around a lot. I'm moving in a very slow and more methodical way, even if I am placing my hand in a place that's not within like the exact standard hand position, which is definitely common enough. I know for me. So, if I am placing it like, let's say I really like Reiki on the jaw. Well, I guess that is more of a standard hand position now that I'm thinking about it. But you all know what I mean. The knees, that's a good example. The knees aren't necessarily a standard hand position, but I really like my knees working to be worked on. So that's another place that I might do Reiki on. But I am generally moving around the body in a methodical and gentle way at a slow pace. Um, and uh and just allowing the Reiki to kind of guide me. And I'm generally doing the standard hand positions, although I give myself a little bit of freedom around that. Now, if you are mostly comfortable in doing the standard hand positions exactly how you were taught, or that's how your lineage practices, the good thing about it is that it's all right. They work. We know by doing the standard hand positions that they are a way that if we don't necessarily have a lot of feeling about, like, okay, my hands, I don't get a lot of Byosen, I don't feel a lot, I don't see or perceive a lot, I don't have that whole experience that some people do. By working through the standard hand positions that Reiki is still doing the work. You're getting all of the areas of the body, and that kind of the whole person is being covered as far as where they are receiving Reiki. So that is another really nice thing about the standardizations and the standard hand positions, is that they do that. And again, the standard hand positions and the way that Colleen went through them last week is similar in self as it is to other people. A little bit different, but same. So we're starting at the eyes with them, then the ears, the top of the head, the back of the head. Um, it's hard to do this on yourself, but here on the shoulders, the jaw. One thing that I will say on this one is that if you were working on the throat, I always prefer the hand being, not only as a practitioner, but as a client, the hand being hovered above the throat. Many of us are very uncomfortable with hands being on our throat, and that is one of the places that can be very uncomfortable for people. Now, the other thing to know about the hand positions, of course, we know that it can be a light touch and it also can be hovered above the body. Both things work. Also, asking your client if they prefer touch. That's one of the number one questions, because not everybody does. or if there's any areas that they don't like being touched. So some people may not want to be touched on their face, but they're okay with being touched on their abdomen and on their feet, in the other places. So that's another thing to know as well. So then moving through the standard hand positions as well. They can be on the abdomen. It can be very helpful to place your hands like this on the abdomen if you're trying to get both places, or like this. Then you have the hips. I do include the knees and then also the feet as well. You can do 1 foot at a time. That is more of the standard hand position. I also like to include both feet. That is a standard hand position as well, but I've seen both ways done. So, and taught both ways. So, just a heads up on that. However you like to do that is totally fine. Then also there are hand positions that are on the back. I can't really demonstrate those, but the shoulders, the mid back, the low back, and then you can also, place both hands. So if this is the upper back and this is the lower back, you can place both hands there as well. Some practitioners don't love working on the back because they don't like to flip people over after they've been relaxed. Other practitioners love it. So it's really just up to your own style of practice. To see the standard hand positions, there's lots of posters. You can find it in Reiki, the Healing Touch Manual, which is super helpful. You don't need to be attuned to Reiki to buy that because the symbols are not actually in there. So you don't have to be attuned to Reiki. But if you are attuned to Reiki 1 and 2, many of you might have already used that. And the standard hand positions are in that manual, whether you took Reiki 10 years ago or whether you took it last weekend. So you can find them there. Also, again, there's posters that you can buy. There's the hand positions that you can see, and they have all of them, right in a row. So they're really easy to reference if you want to do that. But generally speaking, it's moving from the top of the head down to the bottom of the feet. So today, because we are doing distance Reiki, we will be working with surrogates, or if you're working on your own body, make it comfortable. We can't move through every single hand position on a surrogate. This little surrogate, my bat, doesn't have knees. It has wings for hands. Some people's surrogates, or for arms, some people's surrogates don't have arms. It's just the body. So if you like to work on the hands, that is another thing that surrogates may not have. So because they are smaller, it can be hard to get all of the hand positions in. So we will be working today in an intuitive style, but generally speaking, we will be working from the top of the head, the abdomen. I will put my hands on its little feet here, but I'm going to be calling for the knees and for the feet through this. And so what I'm going to do for the knees, for example, is I'm just going to intend that this surrogate are the knees, or that this is the knees and the feet. So when it comes to the knees, I'm going to just say, okay, Reiki is now flowing through me to the knees. Now Reiki is just flowing through me to the feet. You don't necessarily have to go through all the hand positions if you don't want to today. You can just place your hands on your surrogate and know that Reiki is flowing to the whole group, to the place that they need and what they need for that, as well. So that is totally up to you. There's not really a right or a wrong in the way that you do it. I am not going to do every single hand position today. We'll just be going in general areas. With our surrogates, your body, or if you don't move your hands at all, you can just keep them on your body. You can just beam them and know that Reiki is going to go where it's needed. It's going to flow where it's needed. Okay, so I think what we'll go ahead and do is we will actually get into the practice of it. So if you want to turn off your video, you are welcome to. You can get comfortable. Again, making sure that in our intentions, we are receiving as well as giving, so that you're receiving all this beautiful energy that we are all sending today. And the beautiful thing about it is that there's about 100 people here. I know some of you will have to sign off, but just thinking about um, sending it or receiving it from 100 people, that's pretty powerful. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with an invocation. It's going to be pretty short, and then we'll go into sending for a few minutes in kind of each of positions. Okay, so you can go ahead and close your eyes and take some deep breaths. I'm going to go ahead and use a few phrases. So I'm going to leave my video on in case there's anything that you are unsure of what I mean with the words. And so you can go ahead and open your eyes and look at my video. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off in a Gosho meditation, Gosho position. This is the first pillar of Reiki, and this is two hands coming together at your heart. So go ahead and place your hands in Gosho and take some deep breaths. And activate Reiki in between your palms. If you're not attuned, that's okay. Just receive and intention of Reiki filling the space around you. And the light of Reiki fills the space that you're in. As we invite in power symbol, the power of love, divine love, your pure self within, your power within. And we invite in the mental emotional symbol, the higher mind, your higher self, stable and grounded, and your intuition awake. And we invite in the distance symbol, the connection through time and space, the bridge of light, the connection to the divine and consciousness, the power of the divine heart. And those are activated in the space around you. And as you breathe in, you breathe them into your body. The busyness of the world falls away. You are brought right here into this moment in time. And on the out breath, you begin letting go the things that you are ready to release today. And now, Reiki Ho, indication of spirit, which is bringing your thumbs to your third eye, activating that spirit within, that intuition. So you bring it back to your heart, connecting head and heart, intuition and heart, spirit and heart. Now place your hands comfortably on your body and give yourself Reiki as we move through our preparations. And any preparations that you prefer to do, whether that's drawing the symbols on your hands or in the space around you. And all of the symbols that you are attuned to. Maybe the master symbols or the animal Reiki or any of the other lineages that might be a part of your Reiki energy. So we invite in the higher frequencies of Karuna Reiki. So we invite in the light of the divine earth and the light of the divine higher heavens or the higher sources of consciousness. So light of the earth flows up through the bottoms of your feet and the light of the divine down through the top of your head, all flowing right here into your heart space, all flowing through your hands. It flows through to you now, and it'll flow through to others later. We call in the illumined ones, the enlightened ones, as they stand in a circle around you and they shine their light into your space and onto you and into you, activating the higher frequencies, providing love and protection and beautiful, enlightened energy of unconditional love. We call in the divine animal kingdom, this beautiful space as we are here for each other, sending Reiki to each other, or maybe you're sending to people outside of this circle, sending the power of this circle to people outside of this circle. And so just take a moment now and listen for an intention for you today. Whether that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healing, anything that you would like to let go of or bring in. The intentions of those that you might have put in the chat or those that are listening later. We include your intentions into this circle as well. And now pause for a moment. What would you like to let go of today? And what would you like to bring in? And now, if there's any other preparations, I'll give you a moment for that. And now, as a group, we just ask that Reiki flow through for the highest good of the person receiving. We ask that the surrogate that we might be using is really the person that is receiving the Reiki. And in this situation where we're doing group Reiki, we just honor that we don't need to control Reiki, that the Reiki energy just flows through us, knows where to go and what to do. And so now we take a moment. If there's any Byosen scanning that you would like to do, remember it can be your non-dominant hand as you are scanning over your surrogate or maybe even yourself, those places that you know that you would like to receive Reiki for. It's up to you. I'll give everybody a moment to do that. And so now we're going to go ahead and send Reiki General hand positions. We won't cover all of them. We will start at the top of the head and move towards the feet. So now you can go ahead and place your hands over the eyes of your surrogate. You can also do the ears if you would like. So we're going to start at the head, or just place your hands at the head. If you're using a pillow or yourself, just intend. Make sure that you're comfortable. And we'll spend a moment here, a minute here. And remember to receive. Just say, yes, I receive. And now we'll go ahead and switch positions on the head. So if you did the eyes or the ears, you can do the top of the head or the back of the head. So go ahead and switch positions, what you're feeling guided to do. It's okay if you're not feeling anything dramatic, just know that the Reiki is still working. So we're going to go ahead and shift our hand positions again. And so in this case, there's a couple of positions either on the jaw. Most of us need relaxation in our jaw. You can do one hand on the back of the neck, one hand on the upper chest. You're working with a surrogate, you can just place your hands there and know that it'll go to where it's needed. You can also do the shoulders. And as you're receiving, relax your own jaw, relax your own shoulders. Just place your hands as you can. For me, it's hard to just distinguish on my surrogate, so I just kind of place my hands here and ask the Reiki to go where it should. So place one hand on the back of the head, the neck, kind of that occipital. Many people hold tension in as well. So now we're going to go ahead and switch hand positions to the abdomen. And if you're working on a pillow or yourself, just go ahead and intend. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do the abdomen. For me and a surrogate, I just have my hands over like this and just intend that it goes to the different places. Many times I'll place my hands like this, stacked. I also will sometimes hover my hand over their heart and one hand on their abdomen. Allow the Reiki to guide you. Remember to release any tension in the belly. Now go ahead and switch positions on the abdomen. You might do the lower abdomen will include the hips in this. So many of us carry so much in our hips. Again, you can just do this in your mind's eye. We'll go ahead and just gently move our hands to a different area on the abdomen. Now we're going to do, and this is not a standard hand position, I'm going to do the shoulder and the hand. So on my surrogate, I'm just intending that. We'll do one side for a short amount of time and then the other side. So you can go ahead and switch sides now. Doing the shoulder and the hand. One hand on the shoulder, one hand on the hand. So now we are going to move to the knees. Another place that we don't, is not a standard hand position. Going to work on both knees at the same time. Apologize for my stomach. Now we'll go ahead and move to the feet. And for today, we're going to do both feet at the same time. Just remember to say to yourself, as I give, I also receive. I receive Reiki on my feet. Now we're going to do the back. So I'm just going to include the entire back in this. For those that need to receive in your low back, or those that need to receive in the shoulders. You can flip your surrogate over. And so now we just send to the whole body, the whole being. And I just bring my hands up off of the surrogate, sending to the auric fields, beaming to the auric fields. We include the entire group still in this as we send to the whole group, and all of those that were on our list. Put in the chat, send it into the circle. We include you. And so we'll include the world peace grids as well as we send to the world peace grids for peace on earth and to those around the world that need it. You can use the surrogate for that, or beam, or Gyoshi Ho if your peace grid is across the room. And so now we say thank you to each other, to the Reiki, the enlightened ones, those that came before us and after. We're so very grateful. And so we seal these sessions with love and light, love and light, love and light, and ask that the power of the session carry forward and backward, above and below and within. Thank you. And I always like to put my hands back into Gasho or prayer position and do a thank you, a bow of my head, just in gratitude and honoring of my session. Thank you. And so it is. And so when you're ready, you can come fully back in. And then I'm going to give everybody a moment, and then we're going to go ahead and do a Kenyoku. My hands are very hot right now. So I know many of you are still coming back. We're going to go ahead and do Kenyoku to clear the session from just the giving to others. This is dry bathing. It's a very common thing to do after a session. And so that is where you're placing your right hand up to your left shoulder and sweeping down across your body to your left hip. And I'm kind of moving the energy off. Now you're going to do the opposite, down left hand to right shoulder, down to left hip, and then a third time. It's the funny thing about Kenyoku, just up there. And then you're going to do your hands. So you start with your left hand, and you're going to be clearing the energy off of you, from your shoulder to your hand on your right. And then again, left hand out, using your right hand, you're sweeping from your left shoulder to your left hand and kind of just asking the Reiki energy to, you know, take that energy and move it into the Reiki energy. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We open the circle now. So very grateful.